Welcome to all of you. Congratulations on having your ePosters accepted for AMEE, and we very much hope you're looking forward to using the new platform that AMEE are introducing for ePosters this year. My name is Tamsin Treasure-Jones. I'm actually based in Leeds Institute of Medical Education in the UK, and I'm part of the ePoster support team for AMEE this year. And I will hand over to Raymond so you can introduce.
Yep, hello. My name is Raymond. I'm also in the ePoster support team for this year, and I'm based in the Netherlands from a company called Raycom, and we are also the developers of the e-learning platform. So any bugs that you find or any problems that you have, please direct them to me, and then everything will be sorted. And now I hand over back to Tamsin.
Okay, I forgot to say there is another way of interacting during the webinar, which is that at several points we're going to ask you questions, and there'll be a way for you to vote and give us your answers on those questions. So you'll see near the middle of the screen at the moment, we have a question that says, is this your first time creating an ePoster? Because we just wanted to get an idea of what your experience was. So if you've not already voted on that, if you could vote on that so we can see what the pattern is. It's looking like we've got a bit of a mix. For many people it is the first time, but there are also some people who've previously done this. What I can say is that even those people who previously created ePosters, we realise you won't have created one using the software that we're introducing to you today, because this is new. So I hope what you've done previously will have given you some good ideas, and I hope that you'll find this new platform very useful, and I personally think it's very exciting. So I'm going to go through just some short presentation now. Firstly, just to tell you what we're going to cover today. So our plan is to talk to you, give an overview of how the ePosters are going to work at AMEE, the whole way it's going to run. And then we're going to show you an example ePoster and take you through that so you can see what kind of things can be included. And then I'm going to show you how to create an ePoster yourself, how to get started on doing that. And finally, we'll give you a summary of the support that's available from now all the way up until at the AMEE conference itself. Is there anything else that anyone was hoping we would cover in this webinar? If there is, please can you pop it in the chat now so that we can see what it is. Okay, Andrea, that's a good question. There are two parts to this that you'll see as we go through. The ePoster itself, we would recommend that you have it ready before, that you have it finished before you come to AMEE. So that's quite a late deadline on the actual ePoster itself. However, there is a mini poster which AMEE need to print. And they have asked that those mini posters should be ready by the 14th of August. So actually, I think I would try and aim for the 14th of August for both things to be ready. The ePoster itself, you'll find you can actually polish it and make it make changes right up to the end, but actually best to try and get it ready for the 14th of August. Okay, so before we go on and actually start talking about the posters, I just want to find out a bit about what people have done already. So I've changed the question in the center now. We sent out an email some weeks ago giving instructions on how to create your Learning Toolbox account and how to other steps to follow, and we just wanted to get a sense of how far people have got with that so far. So if you could answer the question in the middle to let us know whether you've created your account yet. Okay. Right. I'm going to, as you'll see what's up on the answers coming up, it looks like most people have, which is great. There are a couple of people who haven't yet done it. So what I'd recommend is after this webinar, if you go back and to that email and follow the instructions and set up your account, you'll then be ready to get going. The next thing I wanted to check, changing the question again, is as well as setting up your account, we also advised you to put the Learning Toolbox app on a phone or tablet if you have one. So we wanted to just check and see how people had got on with doing that. Okay, so again, that looks like it's pretty much the same pattern, which is great. So thank you those of you who have, and for those of you who haven't, be a good chance to do it at the end of this webinar. I think I have one final question here. That is in the same email we told you about some support videos that we'd created for AMEE, and we want to get a sense of which of these support videos that you may have already watched. Okay, so that's a quite mixed. What I was going to check was if everybody had watched how the ePosters will work at AMEE this year, then I wouldn't go over that bit in today's webinar. But since about 50% of you haven't, then I am going to briefly cover that part as well. For those of you who have watched the video, hopefully this will just be a useful reminder. Okay, so I shall start now and go through the presentation. So the ePosters this year, we're using a new platform. It's called Learning Toolbox. The platform we're using actually was developed as part of a European research project called Learning Layers. And so it's brand new. We used it within the project for some ePoster activity, but AMEE is the first time this has been used for a large scale international conference. So you're pioneers here using this, and we're sure it's going to be very successful. So thank you for trying this out with us. What Learning Toolbox allows you to do is that on your computer, you can create a collection of materials, interactive materials that will be an ePoster that other people can then view either on a computer, or even better, they can actually view it on their mobile phone. And here you see some screenshots of what these ePosters might look like. So essentially they look like an app on the phone once they're opened, and you can see that there are different areas to them, and if you're interacting with them on the phone, you tap on it and different material would open up that you'd put in it, like a video or a document or a presentation, an image, whatever you've chosen to put in. So it's pretty flexible. We have created some templates to help people get started, but it's actually a very flexible tool, and you can make it look the way that you want within this idea of having the different tiles. So yes, another thing to tell you about it. One of the advantages of having the ePosters on your phone is actually Learning Toolbox also allows people to actually have discussions that are attached to your ePosters. So People can actually post questions in the chat area of your ePoster, and you can post answers to it. So you can actually interact with people who have an interest in your research, and you can actually send messages out to your ePoster as well, so that people who have looked at it will see the new messages that you've sent out. So it's a very interactive format. So this might sound very good, but how exactly are people going to find your ePosters? One of the things I've seen at previous conferences that use ePosters is that if the ePosters are only appearing online somewhere, then they can tend to be overlooked and get lost in a conference that has a lot of busy activity going on. So something we've introduced is the fact that there will still be mini posters. These would just be a small A5 poster that you can actually create at the same time as making the ePoster. And those mini posters will automatically, Learning Toolbox will put on them a QR code, which you can see here in this example ePoster. And people just need to scan the QR code and your ePoster will then open on their phone. So if we look at this, so scan it and the ePoster opens on the phone. And what we will have at AMEE is we will actually have a wall where all of these mini posters are stuck up. So people can browse and see your mini poster, which gives a little summary of your work, and then they can scan it and get the full ePoster on their phone. So they then have your ePoster actually on their phone that they can look at later wherever they are, even after they've left the conference. Now, there will still be a way for them to find your ePosters online as well. So they'll have both a physical presence and an online presence. There'll be a virtual wall which people can look at on a website and search for your ePoster. Then finally, the last part of the ePosters at the conference. Okay, I'm just going to answer Eugenie's question. Is the mini poster in paper format? It will be in paper format, but you don't need to print it and bring it. You just need to get it ready in the Learning Toolbox software, which I could show you how to do later in the webinar. And if it's ready by the 14th of August, then the AMEE team will print and laminate your mini poster and bring it with them to Helsinki. So you don't need to do that printing bit yourself. Okay, so the last part of the ePosters at AMEE will be that, as with normal posters, you will have a time when you will present your ePoster. Now, with traditional paper posters, that presentation has been done standing next to the paper presentation. This time we've got a presentation room set aside for the ePosters, and you will have a time slot where you'll go to the presentation room and you'll be able to present your ePoster projected onto a screen. Now, you'll only have 5 minutes, so obviously you're not going to show all the things that are in the ePoster, but give people an overview of your work and show them where to look in the ePoster to find the more interesting parts. And of course, what they'll be able to do is they can follow you on the ePoster on their phone, and also they can look at your ePoster later after the presentation as well. So that was a whistle-stop tour of how the ePosters are going to work at AMEE. Just answer Andrea's question. One of the things that you can actually put into the ePoster is where you could put in a PowerPoint presentation, so that you could actually then pull that up from the ePoster during your 5 minutes and use that. We actually recommend you put it in as a slide share, because it will then play within ePoster format. But if you put it in as a PowerPoint, it will also work as well, because you'll be doing this on a tablet or a PC that actually has PowerPoint installed. So you could do it that way if you wanted to. Okay, so I think that has hopefully given you an overview of how we plan on it working. With the mini poster wall, the fact that people will be viewing the posters on their phones and be able to have discussions around them, and the fact that you will have 5 minutes, I believe it is, to present your ePoster. The central AMEE team are sorting out the schedule at the moment, Elena. So yes, I believe, I'm not entirely sure when those will be announced, but I think it's fairly soon they will be giving you your schedules. Okay, the next part of this will be to show you an example ePoster, but before we just move on to that, are there any other questions about the process of how it's going to run at AMEE? Well, Eugenie, it is, because if you don't use Learning Toolbox, then you won't have the mini poster in the right format to go on the mini poster wall. So Learning Toolbox is the method that you will be using for the e-posters in order to make everything consistent. The presentation Alexander, is actually going to be, we will bring a tablet. You don't need to bring any hardware for the presentation. We will have a tablet there, or a computer from which it will be projected. So if it works within the Learning Toolbox software, which you'll be able to try out over the next few months, then it will work in the presentation room. I'm just waiting because I could see. Okay, Abigail, within the presentation itself, you'll have a physical audience in there who will obviously ask questions. It is possible that other people might add a question within the software. If they did that, then the person chairing the session could bring that question to your attention if it wasn't spotted. And of course, you can also answer those questions in the software after the presentation as well. And no, you don't need to bring anything. It will all be sorted out. It will all be on the tablet already. Yeah, Raymond's just put that up. Okay, so the main piece of work for you is just getting your ePoster built within Learning Toolbox. Other than that, you can leave all the other details for us to manage for you. Okay, I will now go on. So the next thing we're going to do is to look at an example ePoster. You can actually see here, this is the one we're going to look at. This is its mini poster. Its mini poster gives some brief information about the piece of work, a little image to capture your attention that says something about the work, and the QR code, which obviously when it's scanned, it would open up the ePoster. So I'm going to hand over to Raymond, is now going to take control of the screen and show us the ePoster. Okay, so this is what the ePoster would look like on somebody's mobile phone once they'd scanned the QR code. And it would also look similar if they were looking at it on a tablet or even on a web browser on a computer. And the ePoster we're going to show you here today, it's actually based on a paper poster we presented at AMEE last year, and it reports an evaluation study of some tools we built to support informal learning in healthcare. And we created this ePoster using the classic template that we've built. And the classic template gives the ePoster a structure that is similar to a research paper. So you'll see that it's got an abstract area, authors area, background, method, results and discussion, and conclusions. So as a structure that I'm sure we all recognize. Now, behind each of the tiles that you see on here is the content that we've added to the ePoster. So if we look at the abstract tile, if we touched it, what comes up is the abstract that we've added, which is just a formatted text. If we go back, and if we looked at the authors tile, then when we look at that, it brings up information about all the authors of this ePoster. And if we were to click on one of them, let's say Christina, then it actually takes us to the web page she's chosen as her professional profile. So you're able to put in an easy way for people to be able to contact you and find out more about you. If we go back to the start screen again, and if we look at the background tile, then here at the top, I've put just in the background and the top, I've put a very brief bit of a text tile that just gives a very brief text summary of the background of this work. But I've also been able to put some more interesting interactive material in here. So, for example, below it is a SlideShare presentation, which if you click on that, you actually get taken to a PowerPoint presentation that I made and shared on SlideShare, which gives a background to the material. Andrea, if you don't have a web page, then what you can choose to do there is to instead just put that as text and put in whatever text or information that you want to write about yourself. So the web page is just for if people already have a web page that they would want to point at. Otherwise, just put in your own text style. Okay. If we go back, Raymond, so SlideShare, the other thing I've added in here is the evaluation study we were doing. One of the tools we were evaluating was actually the Evernote app. And so here here I've been able to put into the ePoster an actual link to the Evernote app. Now, if somebody is looking at this ePoster on their phone and they click on that tile, what will happen is if they have Evernote already installed on their phone, it will open it up. If they haven't got Evernote installed, then what it will do is it will take them to their app store where they can download Evernote if an app exists for Evernote on their platform. Now, this means that if you've been working on a project that has used any particular apps that you would like people to be able to have access to and have a look at, you can add a direct link in to that app in your ePoster. In this case, you would need to tell us which apps you want to include, but that's something you can just email us about. Okay, Raymond, if we go back. And if we look at the methods section, so here, what I've put here is I've been able to put some more detailed information. Again, I've got a text tile at the top that summarizes the evaluation method we used for this research study, but I've actually been able to put some more interesting material in here as well. We actually used a method called QStudy, and I've been able here to put a link into a video that actually, a video animation that gives a summary of the QStudy method and how it works. So anyone who looks at my ePoster who's interested in that method, they can actually find out more by watching this video. And in this case, this isn't actually a video that I created myself. It's something that was created by another university here in Leeds and shared. So so long as you acknowledge it, like I have underneath this video, it doesn't need to be that you're only linking to material that you've created. If it's background material that will help people understand your work, and so long as it's been shared and you acknowledge that, then you can also be putting those links in. And if we go back, the other thing I've put in this tile down at the bottom is workshop guidelines. So the study this ePoster is talking about involved focus groups and interviews, and I've actually been able to put in links here to files in which the actual interviews guidelines are set out. So again, someone who's interested in my work can find out much more detail than I would normally be able to include on just the paper poster. Okay, Raymond, if we go back to the start screen, I think we'll find the results and discussions similarly have different types of files in them. So I think what's different here is in the results, we again have some graphic descriptions of the work, but also on the full report, I've been able to upload a PDF file of the full results of this piece of work. So again, somebody can read the detail if they want to. And last one, I think, if we go back to the start screen and look at the references. If we look at the references, here on a normal poster, you would write the, you would cite the references, the work you were basing your research on. Here, if the paper actually exists as an open paper, you can link directly to it. So for example, this assessing informal learning paper, if I click on that link, because this paper has already been shared on ResearchGate, I could just add the link in and people will be able to get the full paper and read it. Okay, and if you go back again, Raymond, the very last tile in here is a vote tile. We've added that to the template. You don't need to do anything with that itself, but when the conference starts, we'll turn it on so that people will actually be able to use this tile to vote for their favourite ePosters. So we can have a sort of a competition and an award for the favourite ePoster at the end. We haven't decided on what the prize would be yet. Okay, so I hope that has given you an idea of the type of material that you can include in an ePoster. And if you want to explore that example ePoster in a bit more detail yourself after this webinar, then all you need to do is watch the recording of this webinar and find this place where we are now, Open Learning Toolbox on your phone and scan the QR code there, and you will then have that example ePoster on your phone and you'll be able to look in more detail at what we put in there. So before I go on to how to create one of these, has anyone got any questions about the example that we've just seen? No? Good. Hopefully that means that was quite straightforward. What I will ask then, I've got one question for you before I go on, which is we're interested in what type of material you would like to include in your ePoster. So we've put down some ideas there for things we think people might like to put in an ePoster. If you could just vote for as many of them, you can, this is one of those questions where you can vote for multiple things. So if you just give us an indication of the type of things you think you might put in, that will help us to see what we have and whether there are things that we will be able to cover. Okay, that's all looking good. That's all looking very good. Right. Abigail, yes, SlideShare is essentially what it is. SlideShare, you create a PowerPoint presentation and then you upload it to the SlideShare website and it's viewable from a web browser. People don't need to have PowerPoint in order to view it then. So the first thing you do is just make a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, that's great. We can do all of the things that we've listed on that list. So I will try and point those out as I go through this creation example. I would like to ask the person who ticked other, if you could put in the chat what the other is, then that will be useful to us. Whilst you're doing that, I shall switch to sharing my screen so I can show you how to create one. Okay, just to warn you, so I can no longer see the webinar window, which is Raymond will be keeping an eye on the questions for me now because I've just got the window that I'm sharing. So Raymond, please, if there's anything I need to answer immediately, can you interrupt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great, thank you. So what you're seeing here is the Learning Toolbox website, and I forgot to show you the slide with the URL on it before I switch to sharing my screen, but I'll show that to you when we get back in. So this is where you would go, you would do this on a computer. So you don't create the ePoster on a phone, you create the ePoster on a computer. So you would go to this website and sign in using the account that you used when you followed our instructions in the email. So for me, I set up a Learning Toolbox account, so I'm going to sign in using that. Okay, when you're signed in, you should be able to see your name here, and also for you, it'll say AMEE, that you've been registered in the AMEE domain. If you don't see that, that's something you should contact us on the support email about. But it should be that it works fine and you're in the AMEE domain. So now we want to create our ePoster. Just a quick word about language. What you're actually going to click on here is this link here that says Create Stack. Don't worry about the fact that it says Stack, not ePoster. Learning Toolbox was originally designed as a very generic tool, and it can create all sorts of things that appear as apps on a phone, and Stack is just the word we gave for the collection of material that you're creating. For you, whenever you see the word stack, just think ePoster. That's what it means. So I've clicked on Create Stack, and I'm now able to choose from 3 different templates. So if I chose Empty Stack, it would create something with no structure. I would then do all the structuring myself. If I choose the Classic template, it will create an ePoster with a structure that is similar to that research paper structure. And then there's one that we called Standard template, and that's a simpler structure and is the one that we used in the support video. But for today, since we've shown you a research paper structure one, I'm going to go with that and click on the Classic template. Okay, so what you're seeing now, I want to point out 3 different areas on this screen. It has now created the basic version of our ePoster. What you're seeing on the left here, the tile library, these are the different types of tile that you can add to your ePoster. So if I very quickly just go through them, there's a text content tile, so that's just basic text. One that links to an app, a tile that will link to a file, one that will link to online content. Collection is a tile that links to a group of material. Probably this isn't one that you're likely to use. User content is a tile that would allow the users to upload information to your ePoster. Again, interesting, but probably not one you're likely to use. Stack screen is a tile that links to a new screen in the ePoster, so you can have more than one screen, like we saw in the example. And other stack is a tile that would allow you to link to another ePoster. Again, that's not one you're likely to use. Newsfeed and Twitter feed allow you to connect to newsfeed and Twitter feeds. In the center here, what you're seeing is the actual ePoster as it exists at the moment. And so as you'll see, because we clicked on the classic template, it's already created for us a structure that is based on that research paper structure. So we have the different areas that you would expect in a research paper. Something I just wanted to point out to you is that you'll see here that you can tell what type of tile it is based on the icon that's on it. So the abstract tile here has this icon here, which tells you that it's actually a text content tile. The authors, background, method, these others have an icon on there that tell you that they're actually a stack screen tile. They're tiles that point to another screen. Over here on the right, the third part of the screen, this is the part that where we can start setting what the content and appearance is of what's in focus at the moment in the ePoster. So for example, we're just talking about screens. We're currently looking at the start screen, but this menu here will allow me to move and look at the other screens. So if I want to see what's in the author's screen at the moment, I could just choose it off there. And at the moment, because we've not added any content, there's nothing in the author's screen yet. So I will move back to the start screen. And I think the first thing to do when you create your ePoster is give it a name. So you'll see we've got our general settings here on the right, and I'm going to give this ePoster a name. We're going to call this Confer and Collaborate, because I'm creating this ePoster about a study we did on a collaboration learning tool. You'll see the name of the ePoster has now appeared at the top here. So you shouldn't give it your full title of your ePoster because it won't fit on there. So this is your shortened title. Something else you'll want to do when you've just set it up as well is to turn on the chat. As I said to you, people can send in questions to your ePoster, but that needs to be turned on. So you just click on there and that will turn it on. Okay, so that's some basic settings of our ePoster. I'm now going to save it. Remember, stack just means ePoster, so I'm going to click on Save Stack so that we're definitely saved. And now we can start to do adding some content. Each of the tiles has a little edit icon in its top right-hand corner. And to add content or change the appearance of a tile, all you need to do is click on its edit icon up here. So if I click on that, you'll see that the screen has changed over to the right. This is now giving me a place where I can actually add content to this tile. I could change the title of the tile, but actually abstract is fine, so I'm not going to change that. And because this is a text tile, what I can do is I can add in some formatted text here. What I'm going to do is actually find my submitted abstract for this ePoster, copy the abstract, and just come back in here and paste that in. Okay, so if we scroll down the screen, you'll see that it's pasted in the abstract from my submission that I just copied. And if I can make changes in here. I can correct that misspelling, for example. And I could add more formatting. I could even add in an image if I wanted. When I'm happy with what's in the text there, I just click on apply. And if we move up here, you'll see already, you can see the text now appearing on that tile. But actually, I only really, I don't want the text to appear like that. I'd rather have an image on the tile and people see the text when they click on the tile. So I'm going to change its layout. Each tile has both settings and layout tabs. So if I click on the layout, I could actually change the size of the tile. I can make it double, and as you see, it's already changed there. And I can change the color of it. See there? I'm going to stick with it just at normal size. Now what I could do is I can set an image that will actually appear on this tile. Like you saw in the examples, all of the example tiles had images on them. So all I need to do is click on set image, and then I can either upload from my computer an image to use here, or on image search, I can just put in a word and search. This connects to a database called Pixabay, which is a database of free to use images, copyright free images. So anything you find on here, it's fine to use. So I'm just going to choose, for example, this one. And what it does is I can actually I'm dragging and dropping to move around this image here and choose where it's going to center on. And using the bar at the bottom, pulling up and down there, I can change how it appears in there as well. I'm going to choose to make it just like that, I think. And then click on apply. And you'll see it's loading, and you'll see now we have an image appearing on that tile. So still, if someone touches the tile, they'll get to the text. It will fill the screen, but actually now the tile just looks nicer. Okay, so I think that's us finished on that tile. So I'm going to close here, and this takes us back to the main settings. And I'm going to look at the authors tile. So if I click on the edit icon in the authors tile, then what we get here is the same thing. I can change the tile layout and set an image. I'm not going to do that because you've seen how to do it now. In the settings for this one, this isn't where I actually add the content, because this, remember, is a stacked screen tile. What this is telling me is which screen this tile is pointing at, and it's pointing at the author's screen. So I'll close that now, and I will move to the author's screen by using this menu. And as we saw before, the author's screen is currently blank. So what I want to do is to add some tiles to the author's screen. This is actually John Bibby's ePoster I'm creating, and I'm going to add a tile that links to his Twitter profile. So that's an online content tile because it's a web page. So all I need to do is go to the tile library, pick it up and drag and drop that into this screen. And it's already opened up the editing for the tile on the right hand side, and it's asking me to put in the URL, the web page that I want this tile to link to. So I'm going to go off to my other screen here and copy John's URL, come back in here and put it in and click on add, and this may take a little time. Okay, so it's added it in, and what you'll see it's done is it's actually pulled some information from that web page that it thinks is relevant. So it's already tried to add an image and some description to the tile. What will happen was the same as we saw with Christina's. If somebody was actually exploring the ePoster and they clicked on the tile, they'd go to the Twitter page. But this has added some information as a description as well. Now it's chosen an image from the Twitter page, but actually that isn't the one I want. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to choose to change the image. Again, I could upload my own here or do a search, but it's also showing me other images from this page. And that looks like a much better one to add. So I'm going to choose to add that one in for John. Okay, and apply it again. And we'll see that we now have John's Twitter page added. And John, if I was doing this again, I would go and change it so we don't have the bird over your head. But for the moment, we'll leave that. What we could do then is we could carry on if there are other authors and drag in other tiles and add other authors in here as well. And on each one, just click on the edit thing to change them. We could also move the tiles around. So if we wanted John to be at the bottom, we could just move him around like that. And it's just as easy as it's just drag and drop to do this. Okay, so I will close that now. I'm going to save the stack again, just because I'm always safe about doing these things. And if we go back to the start screen, obviously if I was finishing this, I'd then go on and change and add an image to go behind that author's tile as well to make it look nice. What I'll actually do next is look and see the type of thing I might want to add to the background tile. The background tile again is one of these ones that's pointing at another screen. And if we check, just to make sure, yeah, it's pointing at a screen called background. So if I close that and move to the background screen, again, it's blank at the moment. So just to show you some other types of thing you might want to add, I will just show you how you add an app. So I would drag an app in. Again, what it does is it's already started the settings over here on the right, and I can change the name of the tile, and it's going to give me a menu of different apps that I could choose to add. Now, if you've got an app that you would like to be added on there, all you need to do is contact us and we can look at adding it in. For now, I think this is a particular app that's been developed here at Leeds Institute of Medical Education, so I think I'll add that in. And it's already, because I chose it, it's picked up the right name and it's picked up an image for it. So that's all, that tile is all finished already. Another type of tile that I might want to add is a file. So if I choose file here, again, it adds, it immediately does the editing opening over here on the right. And this time I can just choose a file from my computer. If I click on here, it'll ask me, and let's say I've got a file about the progressive inquiry model, which is something that was used within the Confer tool, and Rapid. So if I want to choose that, I just choose it off there and click on Open. And you'll see that it's uploaded that. It's decided to put the title in there. I can edit it, and I can put an image behind it if I want to as well. Okay, so I'll save that. Let's see which we've done. So we've done app file, we'd already done online content. These two I don't think you'll use, so I won't show you those. But a Twitter feed. If we add a Twitter feed in, again, it opens up on the right here, and for a Twitter feed, what we're able to do is put in a link either to somebody's account or to a particular Twitter hashtag. And what it will show when somebody clicks on this tile is it will show the recent posts from that account or on that hashtag. So in this case, I'm going to put in the Improvement Academy was involved in this work, so I'm going to put their Twitter account in and say get Twitter feed. And what that's done is the 15 there says there are 15 recent tweets from that, which will be appearing when somebody touches on this tile, but that will get updated every, live. So I create it now, but tomorrow it will be whatever the recent feeds are then. And again, I can change the layout of this tile if I want as well. So if I wanted the Twitter feed to be double sized, I can do that. And it's double at the top there. Okay, I think maybe one thing I haven't shown you is adding a video. You could add in a video just like we added in the PDF file by putting in a file icon and file version, and on the edit, uploading a video file here. However, actually that's not usually the best way of adding the videos. If you already have a video that's on YouTube, then you can just add in a link to the YouTube video, and that's usually how we've chosen to do it. So if I do that, and then I have a YouTube video such as, I have one of the Confer tool we developed, and paste that over here. Then you'll see again what this has done is it's pulled in the title, some description and an image. And if somebody was to click on this tile, then the video would start to play on their phone. Okay, so I think I've shown you the main types of tile there. And if we go back to the start screen, basically I could go into all of these tiles now and start editing and adding the content that I think is relevant to that area. But what I will very quickly show you now before stopping to see how many questions have built up is what you would do to then check what you've been building. So I'm going to save the stack again, and if I then close the editor, what you see here is on the left, it has automatically generated a QR code for my ePoster. And if somebody was to scan that QR code, then they would see my ePoster on their phone. In fact, right at the moment they wouldn't, because if you look up here, my ePoster is currently set to private. So I would need to change the permissions before this became public and people could view it. So if I click on the permissions here, there are two parts to the permissions. The top here, where it says private, hidden or public, This essentially says how findable the ePoster is. Private means it just is completely locked and no one's finding it. Hidden would mean if somebody searches, they're not going to find it. The only way they're going to get it is if I share this QR code with them or this link. And public means if they go onto the Learning Toolbox website and they search, then they can find this ePoster. So while you're still working on the ePoster, what we would recommend you do is choose to put this as hidden. And then on the bottom, this says who has access to actually look at it. If we restrict access to AMEE, it means only people who are logged into Learning Toolbox and have access to the AMEE area can see it. This one, accessed by authenticated users, means only people who are logged on to Learning Toolbox. And this allow anonymous access means that actually it's available for anyone to see. We're actually going to recommend setting it to that, because then that will mean while you're at AMEE that people who haven't created a Learning Toolbox account will still be able to see your ePoster. So if I apply that, then you'll see this is now changed. This is now saying anonymous access and is now, 1 second, I lost my mouse. Okay, there we go. Green at the top to say it's viewable now. So if I was to, when I make my own ePosters, what I do is get to this stage and then I want to see what it looks like on my phone. So I do this, I open Learning Toolbox on my phone, I scan that QR code and I can then play around with the ePoster on my phone and really get a sense of how it's working at the moment. So I'd recommend doing that because it's quite fun to see that you've just made it and it's already on your phone and you can already interact with it. However, if you didn't want to, there is another way of previewing it, which is just using the preview button here. And if you click on that, then you can actually see it within your computer screen instead. I'm assuming, Raymond, this is still shared. Give me a shout if it isn't. And you can explore by going in and looking at them. So there we can see the abstract that I put in. If we look in the background, we can see the information I put in there, including the video here. You get to see how it would actually play in Learning Toolbox. Okay, so that's another way of previewing it if you want. I'm going to stop now and see how we're doing with questions. And I think we might hopefully, I'm not sure if we'll have time to cover making the mini poster. We had planned to do a different webinar for that nearer the time. So first of all, let's see if we've got any questions at the moment about what I've just shown.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the questions while they were asked. There were not so many, so don't worry.
Okay.
If people,
so you did that in the chat.
Yes. If people still want to know, there was a question which I think is important about how long the accounts will be valid. How it works is if you create your own account, and that account will stay valid. But the ePosters that you make are connected to the AMEE domain, and the AMEE domain is part of AMEE's contract with us. So that will be available as long as AMEE keeps that available, but at least until May next year. And you will be, so basically it will be available to quite long after the conference. And that also means that during all that time, if people pick up your ePoster from the conference in their mobile device, then they can be in contact with you and you can keep updating your ePoster while you go. So actually the ePoster then becomes an ongoing record of the state of your research, if you will, if you like that, of course. So.
Okay. I'm just seeing Andrea's question. Raymond, if you don't mind answering that while I just look at the final part of today's webinar.
So normally, Andrea, I know people do it like you write there, but normally you're not allowed to use. This is the thing with copyright. If you make a picture, you have copyright, and then no one is allowed to use it unless you tell them that it's okay. So this is why people came up with Creative Commons. So the pictures that you've been using that you got from Google, actually what you're supposed to do is email or contact each of these people individually and ask them if you can use their stuff, unless they have already said so by marking it as a Creative Commons thing. So I cannot tell you that it's okay to use just any post, any image. The best way is to make sure that you do have the right to use them, which is either by using your own images that you've created or by using images that have been marked as either free of copyright, which are the ones that are in Pixabay, or if you have the right to use them by the people that made them. So either because they told you that you could, or because you have, or they have marked it as Creative Commons shareable. Yes, you can search on Flickr and use the CC license types. If you do that, then it's all fine. Then just make sure that you mark that somewhere. We don't have a box for that right now, so I'm happy that you say we might create a box for that. But just keep track, make sure that you know where they came from and what the licensing is for each of the materials that you use.
Okay, I see we have some other questions there, and I am going to come back to you with those other questions. But I just want to very quickly summarize the support that's available from now on, and then we'll come back and do the questions just in case anybody needs to leave. So I did say I would tell you the URL for where you go to create your ePoster. It's the one that's on the screen now. And the two important URLs are also right below the presentation as well, where to go to create your ePoster and where to go to get support. So the support, we have a set of videos that talk you through creating the ePoster, and those are available on that web address that's on the page at the moment. So everything that I've covered today should already be in those videos, and in fact there may be more information in there as well, including video 4, which is how to finalize your ePoster and make the mini poster. That's there and you can play it. So I know someone, I think it might have been Andrea, asked about playing things back. We will share this webinar link with you afterwards, but also the videos are there all the time for you to play back. Then if you need extra support, that if you've got questions that are not covered in the videos, then you can email the support address that is on the page now, support@stack.services. You can send an email to that direct. Also, if you're on our support web pages, you will see there's a support link circled in red there on the right of the page, and if you click on that, it'll open up a template which allows you to send us a support email request as well. And we will aim to get back to you within 1 working day is our current aim. Okay, and then the last thing is we're actually going to have a help desk at AMEE, and that's right from all the way through the pre-conference weekend, so the Saturday and Sunday before the main conference starts, and then all the way through the conference itself. So what you can do is turn up on that first weekend and come and see us. hopefully with a finished ePoster. But if there's any polishing and last minute changes you want to be made to it, we can actually give hands-on help with doing that then. But as I said, I would advise you aim to have a finished ePoster by the 14th of August. The mini poster version definitely needs to be finished by then. Okay, so I think that's what we planned to cover today again, was how they work, show you an example, show you how to create one, tell you what the support available is. And so I think now I will go and look at the questions that were asked.
Yeah, I have already answered some things in the chat, but I will just, because it's for everyone, maybe clear if I just repeat. One question was if can you move your ePoster from the AMEE domain to your own space in the Toolbox? The short answer is yes, you can. And then also the URL that is connected to your ePoster and the QR code will stay the same if you do that. So for longer term support, this is what you're looking for. You will not lose it. You can then move it into your own space. And then all the references that you made to it will stay the same. Another question was if you could link to from ResearchGate. At the moment, we don't have a very neat linking into ResearchGate, but as you've seen, each poster has a QR code, but it also has a unique URL. If you use that URL in ResearchGate, then at least you have something that links directly to your ePoster for people to follow. That's that.
40. Oh, that's it's a central AMEE team that will be organising that, and they haven't told us a specific time. So I am imagining, let's say, end of the day. I'm going to go for yeah. That looks like about the right time. UK time, because the central AMEE team are based in in Dundee. If it's different, we will send out something to let you know. In fact, we plan on we don't want to bombard you with emails, but we do plan on sending out an email sort of once a month to offer extra support. And certainly we will send you out a reminder email before that 14th of August deadline with any extra information as well. Yes, reminders and nudges. Nudges are actually a research area that we're looking into. So maybe we'll try out some different ways of doing nudges and see how they work. Okay, wonderful. Is there anything else that you would, any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for listening to the webinar. It's been quite a learning experience for us putting this together as well. It's the first time that we've used this webinar. I think someone said at the start, maybe Andrea again, it was the first time she'd used this webinar software. It's the first time we've done it as well. And it's been interesting, but it seems to be quite effective. So thank you very much for your time. Good luck with your ePosters. Do let us know if you have any questions or need any help. And we're very much looking forward to seeing you in Helsinki.
Okay, thank you very much. We have this recorded. So we will send you the details of where to find and rerun this if you want. John Bibi, yes, your post is half done. The rest you can do yourself.
Eugenie, the best way of contacting us, I could give you my personal email address, but the downside of that is if I'm on holiday, it might take longer to get hold of some help. The best email to use is this one on screen now, the support at stack.services, because actually we've got a team of us that are monitoring that email address. So if one of us goes on holiday, somebody else will be able to cover. So I'd recommend using that one. Any more questions? Nope. Great. Well, again, thank you very much for your time, and see you in sunny Finland.